Mi nombre es Viviana Marzano y junto con mi colega Ana Chaides vamos a ser las intérpretes al inglés y al español esta noche. Si usted es bilingüe inglés y español, no necesita hacer ninguna selección. If you are connected via a laptop or a computer, you will see a globe icon at the bottom right-hand side of the screen. Click on the icon, click on language interpretation, and select English. If you are connected via a phone or an iPad, you will see a three-dot menu. Click on the three dots, click on language interpretation, select English, and then done. Si usted está comunicado con una laptop o una computadora normal, va a haber un icono del globo terráqueo en la parte inferior derecha de la pantalla. Haga clic en el globo, haga clic en interpretación de idiomas y seleccione español o Spanish. Si usted está conectado con un iPad o un teléfono, va a haber un menú de 3 puntos. Haga clic en los 3 puntos, seleccione interpretación de idiomas, haga clic en español o Spanish y luego haga clic en done o finalizar. If there are no more questions regarding interpretation, we can continue with the meeting. Si no hay preguntas sobre la interpretación, podemos continuar con la junta. Okay, can the host please enable me as interpreter number 2?
You're set. There you go. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here this evening. You may hear my dog in the background. Her name is Chica, and she loves to bark at anybody that walks by our home that gets within 10 feet. So you'll hear her, and you might hear my husband doing his best to keep her quiet. So welcome. My name is Dr. Elise Simmons, and I'm the principal at Santa Barbara High School. Thank you for being here this evening for the Sunset Chat. So I'm going to start sharing my screen, and we will get, sorry, let me go to that. I know it's the wrong one, so give me a second where I get to the right slide deck. And there we go. Okay, so just a little background on the Sunset Chats before we jump in, is these were originally, and they will be, there's going to be a sunrise and a sunset, and the sunrises are going to be in person, and the sunsets will be via Zoom. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. I'll go ahead and do presentation mode. Let me do that. Okay. There, here, give me a second, it's coming. The goal of these chats is twofold. One is to share information with you, and the other is to just have an open forum and talk about what you are worried about and want to know more about. This is being recorded. We will post it on our website. And if you have any, like I said, if you have any questions, just make sure you can use the chat feature. You can raise your hand and we'll unmute you, but it is a Zoom, which means people can see you and hear you. So just FYI, it's not a webinar. Okay, so let's get going here. First, we are doing a better job of tracking who's coming to these meetings to help us with understanding our level of parent engagement, but also gives you an option to share with us anything that you may need. I'm going to put the link to this sort of, it's like attendance survey. If you could either do a picture of the QR code right now and complete the survey, and in a minute I will put, give me a second here, I will put in the link in the chat. I'll do that by the end of the meeting, okay? So here we go. Trying to do, okay, backwards. For those of you who may know the administrative team because you went to back to school night, thank you for coming. But here's my team, and we have some new faces here. We have Mr. Mendoza is not new, he's with me, he was there last year. Mr. Hodges, believe it or not, and maybe a new face for you all, but he's not a new face at Santa Barbara High. He was there as an assistant principal 10 years ago, so he is serving as a temporary. Dean. And if you know anybody that'd like to be an administrator at a high school and they have their credential, please have them reach out to me. We are looking for a dean, and Mr. Hodges will be with us through December. We have Miss Spivak, who's coming to us from Ventura, and also she worked down further south, about 10 years in administration. And then we have Dr. Brenda Clark, who is coming to us also from down south, and it's her first year as an administrator. And this is my team, and it's a wonderful team, and we've done a really good job, I feel like, getting the year started off right, working closely with our teachers. So again, the goal of Sunset Chat is for me to share information with you, but it's also for you to engage in a dialogue with me. When we're in person, it's much easier to do that. But when we're on a Zoom like this, it seems more formal, but feel free to raise your hand or add a question into the chat and let's talk. I did prepare some information for you just to see, I don't know what you'd like to hear. And then you can also put in the chat some things like, hey, can we talk about this or this? So just make sure that you know that this is a dialogue back and forth. I do have some information to share with you about Title I, which is a legal requirement that we have an annual meeting each year. So I will roll that into this meeting as well. Okay, here we go. Another amazing group of people, some of you know them, are their counselors. And here they all are by their alpha, including our college and career counselor. Oh, good. I see something in the chat. So the QR code I'm hearing takes you to a Google form that says you need permission. So let me update that. If you can give me a second, we'll update that. Maybe Maria, you can help by going into the Google form, then update it so that anybody, not just with Santa Barbara Unified, can add those questions. Let's see if she'll do that, and then we'll try again. It's just hard when I'm in presentation mode to go and do those things. So we'll find a moment where I can do that if she's not able to do that. I do have Maria Jimenez here helping me, so it's awesome. But here's our counselors. We are making a few changes. We're waiting for it to happen technically. I think it got wrapped up yesterday, but we are having to shift a little bit of the caseloads around just to balance out the numbers, and we'll make sure we communicate that to you all soon. We'll get that to you probably in next week's memo that goes out to you. We do have an amazing college and career center, and here's some great pictures of it, just as a reminder, especially for our new families, but also our families of 11th and 12th graders. Of course, 9th and 10th, this is still important, but as you go into the 11th and 12th grade, that's when things really start ramping up related to college, and understanding scholarships and understanding the FAFSA. And so this is the place to go. Miguel works very closely with our counselors on creating information nights. This is this place to go for community service. And as a reminder, all students need to have 60 hours of community service for graduation. I believe our current seniors or some proratedness, I'm still getting some direct information around that because of COVID did impact their ability to do community service. So we'll make sure we clarify that. But community service is a graduation requirement, but beyond it being a graduation requirement, it's really great to give back to the community. It's also great to add for resume builder and also to help students really understand what they're passionate about and what they're interested in. So community service is more than just about, let's get that done for graduation. So the College and Career Center is a great place to go. They have lots of information about where to go in our community for that and can help with all that. Okay. Maria Jimenez, she's here with us this evening. She is also an amazing resource on our campus. She's our family student engagement liaison. And you can see all the wonderful things that she does to support our families and our students. Today alone, today was the backpack day. I ran into 2 different students who didn't have a backpack. When I asked them, why don't you have a backpack or a binder? They're like, I just don't have one, and so I got them one. And that's because in Maria's office, from donations, we have brand new backpacks that are with brand new binders with paper and pencils and everything. And so it's wonderful. And also one of the students I know she reached out to the parents to talk a little bit more about other needs that they may have. So we do everything we can at Santa Barbara High to make sure our students and our families have everything that they need. So if you ever need something, reach out. If you ever want to donate something, reach out. And we're here with, you know, we appreciate anything that we can use to help our families. You can see Maria also does a lot of events for families. She helped a lot tonight with this slide deck, and just she helps every week with me on the news update that comes out. Family events, you'll see in this on this slide deck all the other events that are coming up. So she's an amazing person to have on our staff that helps connect our students and families to the school. I got a great question. Is there a list of items needed for donations? What we could do, Maria, maybe we think about that in our next thing for next week, what we can ask for, but I can tell you that students always need, like, I would say any sort of school supplies would be wonderful. Snacks is a big one. Like, at any given day, you can go by any one of our offices, and especially Maria's, they're like just little snacks. Kids are, as you know, teenagers are like always hungry no matter what. So you can just, any of those things, you can connect directly with Maria. There's her email, and we can, we can talk through what else we need. Oops. Another important group on our campus are our campus safety assistants. We have hired a 5th one, and so this slide will change soon. And so we're excited about that. But you can see Carlina, Gabe, Brianna, and Wes. This is part of what I call my safety team, along with my administrators, and we do everything we can to make sure that your children are safe. Like today, for example, in the lockout. that happened, and we have our radio communication and we have our cell phone communication, and they were the ones that were, again, with admin, running down, making sure that we were getting everybody into the building safely, locking the doors. So we all work very closely together as a team on all things safety related. They're also wonderful trusted adults on our campus. Kids love them, and so it's just really great to have them help with safety, because safety is more than just physical safety, emotional safety, and they are often the trusted adult for many of our children, and what they're the ones who can also speak up for them and what they need. So you may have seen this at our, let's see, I've had it in a couple places, but those of you who came to our back to school night know that I had technical difficulties. So some of this slide deck is from back to school night. But one of the things that we, as a school, as we go through our WASC, which is our accreditation process, we've evaluated the fact that, you know what, we really need to refine and improve our mission and our school-wide learner outcomes, the big ideas, the skills we want our students to walk away with. And this is our updated school-wide learner outcomes and mission statement. You can see we're focusing on courage to learn, collaboration, creativity, and communication. And it's all, of course, right there in the middle. You can see students will achieve academic success through, and we still want to make sure it's clear that, of course, reading at grade level, math literacy and math practices at grade level, and those are all part of this, but these are beyond that. Question in the chat that I just want to address about the lockdown, because I said it, so a parent asked about it. The lockdown, was my child in danger? So at no point in time were any of our students or staff at Santa Barbara High in danger. It was out of an abundance of caution. I got a phone call from the Santa Barbara Police Department letting me know that they wanted us to go into a lockdown. I chose lockout because I knew more what was happening. Lockdown meant that we would close our shades and everything would be very quiet, but I knew because of what was happening, which was something that was happening across town at another school, I chose lockout, which means close our doors, lock our doors, and business as usual. So at no point in time were any of our children or staff or any of us on campus in danger, but we wanted to be very cautious and preventative. So I just responded to the police's request. Okay, we'll keep going. let's see, these are just some posters that staff made related to our school-wide learner outcomes. There's some more questions about the lockout, which is perfect because you can see here, the next slide is that we want to make sure that Santa Barbara High is a safe place for all students. So can you provide information about the circumstances that led to the lockout? I actually don't know more than I just know that the police said, out of an abundance of caution, we would like for you to go on a lockdown. Again, I chose lockout because I knew that the situation was happening across town over near the 154. So that's all I know. And I I had 3 or 4 phone conversations with the police in the period of time when we were in lockout. And they said they basically said, we have searched the school and we have found nothing concerning, you may lift the lockout. So that's the direction I got. I know that there's an article, I think, in all of in Ed Hat, in News Hawk, and in the Independent about it with more information. I see that someone has their hand up. You can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask a question.
Hi, yes. I wanted to know, what are you guys doing at Santa Barbara High for, I know we received some information about like the procedure for heat waves and how the district is proceeding with that. But in Santa Barbara High, just the day we went to the open house, I mean, it was so hot. I came out of the first classroom with a headache, and I cannot imagine, like, you know, my son has choir as well, and that room has no windows. Yeah, it has 2 doors, but it was intense.
Mhm.
What are you guys, I mean, now that you guys know what the procedure that the district is setting, which is kind of interesting, what is Santa Barbara High doing, like, in a way? Because obviously we are Santa Barbara, so we're
Yep.
expected to have weather like this more
Yeah.
often.
I know. Sadly, we have not done a good job taking care of our earth. So I think we're going to be in this hot zone for a long time now. So what we've done, well, first of all, we're getting, which sort of relates also to the safety issues, is we are getting new window coverings that will also, so we'll block the sun coming in some of our beautiful windows, you know, our windows. We're getting those. We'll have, they came out to measure everything. We'll probably see those installed, I'm hoping, before the holiday break. So that will help with some of the like direct sunlight coming in some of our rooms. We've ordered more fans. And so putting fans, you know, in the doorway, sucking the air out and sort of trying to create that airflow. There's a couple classrooms that have windows that we have that are like not usable, but we had made them usable so you can open them and actually create that breeze. That is really it. You know, I do encourage teachers to find a shady spot outside. We have pop-up tents. So we did bring out pop-up tents, especially for our PE classes, so that they can be shaded and be outside. I think so that's what we're doing specifically at Santa Barbara High. Beyond that, I'm not sure what more we can do. I am $43 million for air conditioning for everyone. I wonder if that's going to be the next bond, you know, ask of the local taxpayers. I do have one teacher that asked to get like a little mini, I'm just gonna use the word swamp cooler for his classroom. I said, well, interesting. I wonder how much, you know, wattage it takes. And I wonder if it even works. So I'm curious to hear from him how it works. And if it was about $200. And so that's something I'm going to wait to see, you know, once he gets it, I want to see if it has any sort of impact on the classroom at all. Because $200 is not that much money, but if it doesn't do anything, then I don't want to waste more money on stuff that's not working. So, but it's hot. It's hot. I would say you could walk around most rooms on those days, and it's like all of the lights are off, and you know, shades are drawn, and we're doing what we can to stay as cool as we can, and encouraging students to use water and just stay hydrated.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Just as a reminder, if you don't know, please, please, please check this out. It's on your student's iPad. Oops. It's safe to speak up. It is anonymous and anything can be shared. You can link videos, you can put pictures. It's anonymous. Again, you can do it. Your student can do it. Please use it. It's really helpful to report and helps. And you can report even things like, I'm worried about my best friend, or I'm worried about my child's best friend. They, you know, their behavior has changed. And again, it's anonymous. And then we just look into it and figure out what we can do to support. I don't know if you've heard about this or not, but this just came out last night and Maria Jimenez put this together for us, which is awesome. But some online tutoring, free for all of California. So I think what I want to do right now, before I keep moving on, is I'm going to minimize that. I want to actually stop sharing. Give me a second here. Let me get out of there. We go. Okay, I want to do two things. I want to first begin by putting the check-in document into the chat. Give me a second. I'm trying to move something. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna copy that. That's my little note to myself to put it in the chat. Let's put it over here for you all. I think I can do it to everyone, can't I? Everyone in the meeting. There we go. So there is, this is the link. Hopefully it's working now to the I'm here, you know, and they can also put in their questions or supports that you may need. I also want to put in there the link to this slide deck so that you have the slide deck that has all of the information in it. Oops, getting some messages. So I'm trying to send to you guys without sending. Okay, there we go. Okay. So there's that. And let me make sure that everybody can see it. Anyone with the link? So now you in the chat, you have access to the slide deck itself, as well as the link to the Google form. I hope you can access it now. Okay. So I'll get to some of your questions. I see them. Thank you. Here is online tutoring. So I want to make sure you know it's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can see it's in different languages. Awesome, awesome resource for all of the students in California. Oh, the Google form still asking. So let me fix that. Hold on, you guys. Here we go. It's as easy as this. You can see. I think what's happening is you can see it as I do it. Give me a second. My chat thing is in the way. This is the best part of Zoom. You can just watch me work in action. So we want to make sure that from default. Sorry, you guys. Give me a second. Restricted to use. I'm going to turn that off. And I hope that works. So see if you can do it now. I hope that will work for us. Okay, so I'm going to come to your questions in a second. Good, thank you, Sunita, for that. Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. So just a couple things that I want to just bring to your attention that we have up and coming. One of the important things is just having you involved in whatever ways possible, being at the sunset chats or the sunrises, wherever. That is engagement and involvement. You're asking questions, you're getting information. I love all of that. It's amazing. And so I want to make sure that I'm going to make some changes, you guys. I'm going to turn the chat. Okay, I'm going to trust you all, right? I'm going to make sure I'm going to turn the chat function on so that everybody can see the questions, because you can see I've been working with hold on, you guys, give me a second. Actually, I don't know if I can do this now. Yes, I can. Hold on, everyone. So can everyone can see the chat. There might be some questions, so hopefully that can happen now. I work with teenagers, so I have to make sure that not everybody can see the chat, because you can imagine what some teenagers would put in the chat. So I'll come back to your questions in a second in the chat. So ELAC meeting, we have one coming up next week. This is primarily targeting our emerging multilingual student families, as well as our reclassified families. This is a place where you can provide input, learn about data, learn about how to support our emerging multilingual students, and your voice is very important. Your input is very, very much needed. I also just want to remind you about a couple other things. If you haven't already, please consider joining the PTSA. They are doing everything they can to bring it back to what its original glory, like I would say 15 years ago, 20 years ago, there was over 500 people in it. So, and like 30 people doing leadership stuff. So please, please, please consider joining. You can see their website right there. So PTSA, wonderful. They give so much to our students and our staff and our community. It's a great organization to have supporting us. Please be part of it. Also, Foundation for Santa Barbara High School, they just started their annual campaign. And that you may have gotten a flyer today. I think it got mailed this weekend, but here is also the information. You have the slide deck. Each year they raise anywhere from $150,000 to $250,000 that goes directly back to the school. It's pretty awesome. You can see what they've already funded for this year. I'm working with them on getting some other things, maybe outdoor furniture, things like that, some outdoor shaded furniture for our students. So please, please consider giving. There's no donation is too small. Like I give a little bit each month. That's the best way I can do it. So you don't have, you can do it in one chunk, you can do it monthly, it's up to you. But it's a great group to support because it comes directly back to our students and our school. Okay. So I think you can chat with everyone now. I hope it's still working. I hope it's working. I hope, Maria, you can see the questions now. The other group I want to say before I shift to Title I is our Alumni Association. We have one of the oldest alumni associations in California. We also have one of the oldest PTSAs in California. So we have a lot of tradition there. Alumni Association is amazing because it gives so much money back to our seniors. They over $250,000 a year in scholarships. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. So please consider being part of the alumni, if not donating to it. Okay, I'm going to shift to Title I annual meeting. Before I do that, this is going to be a lot of information. I want to make sure I answer your questions. And we are going to go back to where the questions were at. So there is a question in Spanish that I'm going to copy back into for everyone so that Maria can help me understand that one. So there's that one. And there was a question. Okay, let's see here. I'm going back. Okay. So there was a question about homeroom and study hall time. So you may notice that we have 2 a week. It's called homeroom. It shows up as study hall on your student's schedule. And we are working on right now in term 1, we're using it as a place to create for communication and common expectations and study hall time. We're going to shift to term 2. There'll be some slight variations. For example, we're going to add in a testing center where students can make up a test. And then terms 3 and 4, we're really going to start to shift to enrichment, to intervention, to AP reviews. And so we're making these shifts. One of the things, so it started off very simple and like all about common expectations. And then we're going to start slowly shifting into more student-centered and things that we know that as we experience the year with them, what they need. So there will be changes within the homeroom time period throughout the year. So I think the app about the Safe to Speak Up, is it only available to our student kids' iPads? Yes, but you can always go into your kid iPad, and again, it can be anonymous. But if you don't want to, I also think you can Google it, but I know it's on the iPads for sure. Miss Maria, you can chime in on chat. So I'm glad someone asked this questions about the cell phone, the off and away, and how it related. The off and away is the campaign for cell phones. So cell phones are off and away when they're in class. Now, when there's a time of emergency, like today, especially if it lasted longer. So first of all, the cell phones are either on your student or they're in like a cell phone hotel, which is also in the classroom. And one of the things that I'd like to work with our staff on is just at what point do they say, okay, you may communicate with your family right now. Like this is, I want you to let them know that you're okay and you know what's going on. So that's the part that I need to work out with my staff. At no point do I want a teacher or anyone, like, especially when there is an emergency and there's a lot of stuff happening, that they say, don't talk to your family. So I want to work together with my staff on that and figure out what is that sort of, at what point, and it could be directed by me or another administrator who knows sometimes a little bit more about what's happening in the big context. I know it can be a really scary time. And so I don't want us to ever, like, the off and away is about learning and about making sure students aren't distracted. It's not about hindering communication with families, especially in the time of an emergency. So we got to talk through that together as a staff and just know that I would never want it to hinder communication. The one thing I can say, and I don't know how to say this broadly, and maybe you can help me, but today I did my best today to communicate with you all through Parent Square as quickly as I could. We had hundreds of phone calls coming in. I get it. I get families are really upset and like wanting to know more of what's happening. But when they're calling in, the police can't get in. Right. So I'm like, so that was really hard to sort of manage. So I just want to remind folks that be thoughtful about when you're in that time. Like it was a lot. There was a lot happening. And so it becomes a communication issue from our end. And so I'm glad that the police have my cell phone number. And I'm glad that we were able to talk to the police, even with all the phone calls coming in, but just sort of be mindful of that. It can get in the way of us trying to be on top of things and communicate. So let's see, there's that. Let me see what other questions are in here. So there's a question about solar panels. So we do have solar panels. I don't know if you've seen the two in our senior lot and our junior lot. We have junior lot will be done this week. It will be open up next week. But we do have massive solar panels on our campus that will offset electrical usage and costs. Question in here about the situation that happened in Oxnard Friday night. Someone asked about that. I very quickly, from what I know, I was not there, but I've been working closely with the principal of Oxnard. I have another message I want to send out to the cheer families, but for you all that weren't there, there was a situation on the football field. I'm very proud of our football players. They showed honor and dignity and character. They did not engage in what was happening on the field. They stayed on the sidelines. That heightened the energy of the crowd. I heard the crowd was saying very negative things towards us. And then when our cheerleaders left, they left, their path of exit was near the home stands. And so there was a lot of stuff thrown at them, said at them. And so I'm working closely with their principal and my team to talk about how do we make sure that no matter where our students are at, whether they're at home, they're at home, like home and school, or we're traveling, that they're always safe. And so we're working on a plan to make sure that buses are where they're supposed to be. There's a staff escort. We have situational awareness. We slow down a little bit. We assess the situation. And so I'm working closely with my athletic director, the assistant principal that oversees athletics, just to make sure that we're doing everything I can on our part to make sure we are keeping our students and staff safe at all times. So I am confident that this was a major learning process for us, but also for the Oxnard team. And the principal has been very, very communicative, apologetic, and he's doing what he can from his end to investigate and provide consequences to the students that were involved. Let's see. Is there a parent directory to assist with communication? I think you mean for staff. There is a staff directory on our website, if that helps. And then does the school have advice about how to handle attendance at off-campus parties? So, you know, things that my jurisdiction is limited to when your child leaves the house in the morning and they're on their way to school, and a reasonable time after school before they get home. That's my jurisdiction. At school events, you know, like a dance or a field trip or a football game, that's my jurisdiction. But when there's parties on the weekends and it's there, you know, that's happening. I would, as a parent, be very aware of when they're going to parties, who's going to be there. Driving, who's like drinking and driving just scares the heck out of me. And so, and just because the parents are going to be there doesn't mean it's going to be a safe party. Just know that. So I just, you know, having that open communication. Now, if something happens at a party and it spills over into Monday on the weekend, spills over into Monday, then it's under my jurisdiction and we can intervene and figure out what's going on. So if there's an impact at school because of something that happened on the weekend, then that's something that we can support with as well. So I hope that answers your questions. Let's see, here's another question in Spanish. I just want to make sure we get that. Let's see. I think, oh, I see, good. Good, I see some good questions. Here's another question that I don't know if you could, oops, it's the same one that we had. I'll have to go back and get it for you, Maria. Okay, so I'm going to keep going, and I see some great suggestions, but I want to make sure I'm cognizant of the time and that I also get some important information to you. So again, there's the QR code if you haven't filled it out. Thank you if you already have. But I want to jump into Title I and what that means, and it does help us understand what kind of school we are and what funding sources we receive and what we're using with those funds. So a couple things here's the purpose of Title I. So we are a school-wide Title I, and it is to provide all children significant opportunity to receive a fair and equitable and high-quality education to close the achievement gaps. So Title I is we receive federal funds to help us meet the needs of our low achieving and students in high poverty schools. We are a high poverty school. We have more than 50% of our students that are socioeconomically disadvantaged. And so we are a school-wide Title I school. So you can see here who receives it. So for us, because it is school-wide, all of our students benefit from the Title I funds. But you'll notice that we do allocate funds to specific groups to target them in an intentional manner to support their educational achievement, academic achievement. So again, we are school-wide Title I, so we can serve all students with our funds. So again, you can see here, we write a comprehensive school plan each year. We wrote an original one to become school-wide Title I, and then each year we write one, it's called our single plan for student achievement. And our single plan for student achievement is created by our school site council. And some of you know this, maybe you've applied for it to be nominated, but we do need 2 parent or guardians to be on our school site council. We need a total of 5. I have 3 returning folks and I need 2 more. So there is a nomination. So if you are interested in being part of our school our school site plan, or sorry, I can't even talk right now, I'm tired. Our school site council, if you're interested in being part of that, and you want to be considered for the election, please send me your information. You can email me. Here's my email, put it in the chat. But please email me. I need to know by Friday, because then we're going to do elections. Our meetings are Mondays once a month from 4 to 5. So I hope you consider doing it. But this is the group that's made up of teachers, non-classroom teachers, parents, and students who review data and make some very important decisions around Title I funds, as well as LCAP funds. The group itself gets to spend about $500,000 a year. It's kind of fun to be able to spend that much money. So this is what our SIPSA, our Single Plan of Student Achievement, is about. And again, the SIPSA guides of how we spend our Title I funds. Here's the cycle. This is our year. So we, in the spring, we develop our SIPSA, which includes goals and strategies. Right now, we're implementing it. In January, we evaluate, and then we talk about what changes we should make, what things we should keep, and then we write a new plan. So that's the cycle. Here's what we're spending our money on. So you can see here for Title I, we get $207,000, 791. About $208,000 we get. This is what we're spending our money on. You can see there all the different things: tutoring, bilingual curriculum specialist, new student orientation, parent engagement, Avid College. You can see all the different things we spend our money on. Just Title I. This is just Title I, one of the funding sources. And we do have some remaining funds, and we have our first meeting on Monday. So we will be talking about how to spend those funds, possibly professional learning. I have some teachers who've come to me wanting to go to, some math teachers coming to me wanting to go to some conferences. So, okay, I'm gonna just go through this, and I promise that I will answer all your questions. Great question. So which Monday does school site council meet? First, second, or third? So I have to cheat. Give me a second to look. Because it got a little wacky. I want to say it's the third Monday, but sometimes that changes because of, yes, it's a little bit different. I can send you, if you want to email me, I can send you the actual dates. I have the dates set up for, and I appreciate that you want to know, because one of the things I've had parents reach out wanting to do it, but then they can't do it because they work or something, because it's 4 to 5 on Mondays. So great question in the chat. How are site council Title I funds allocated differently from PTSA? Thank you, Linda. I will email you. How are site council Title I funds allocated differently from PTSA funds or foundation funds? And so site council specifically looks at Title I, which we're right here, you can see it, as well as LCAP, which is another, let me go back, which is another about 250,000. They're specifically looking at student achievement data and engagement data. And so they're making decisions that are directly connected to the school. Foundation often uses, they come to me and say, okay, you get all this money, in quotes, all this money. What else do you need? Like, what can you not pay for? Like, for example, like outdoor furniture is something that I just don't have the funds allocated for that. That's an example. Or sometimes we work together and we create like innovative things that the other school, district isn't funding, or we're thinking, let's try this out. And so, for example, having a full-time wellness center coordinator, the foundation actually funded the first school college and career counselor. And then now the district has picked that up. PTSA, their funds go towards, they've gone to learning enrichment grants to staff. But I'm working with them on using their funds to support our student clubs, what they're interested in doing. So I'd rather students focus on, instead of on fundraising, unless that's their club, is to raise funds for an organization. But if they have other, for example, I have there's a new automotive club. They want to create a Santa Barbara High car. They want to build a car. And they're like, where are we going to get the money from? I said, well, let's talk to PTSA. So I'm working with them on that. So they'll fund our student clubs, which I think is really exciting for our students. To be on the school site council is a commitment. Actually, it's a 2-year commitment, and it's a once a month meeting. That's about an hour. So great questions. The other part of the Title I is just to remind you that your engagement is really important, and your engagement is coming to meetings like this, but also two-way communication. I hope you don't ignore my once a week messages that I send to you, whether it's the video message or the one pager. Those, I'm doing what I can. Maria and I are working really hard to get you centralized information as best as we can. Just so that you can feel engaged, you can feel informed, and you feel comfortable reaching out if you ever have questions. But we also want you to be there. Like, there's school field trips, you can volunteer on campus. Senior Sunrise, for example, is coming up. Like, there's so many ways that you can engage that we just want to encourage you to know that our doors are open and we're here. So just let us know how you want to get involved. And I'm sorry, I misunderstood the question. There was a question, is there more time commitment than just the meetings for school site council? It's really just the meetings. Every now and then I'll send something that needs to be read beforehand, but it's really just the meetings. We do have a student parent family engagement policy. You can read it, it's really long, but you can look at it. I just want to make sure you knew we had one. It talks just a lot about what we do as a school, what you do as parents and guardians, and just how we stay connected and informed. These are things that we are required to have. And so again, we do our best to meet all of our requirements. This is just to remind you, like, these are ways that you can get involved. Please consider joining one of them. So there's more about ELAC. We talked about, we have an ELAC meeting next week. You'll see that in our memo, as well as a parent that will come in the parent square. CPAC, which is our students or special education advisory committee, students with an IEP. If you have a student with an IEP, I hope you consider joining this. Please email me. We're going to do a few meetings throughout the school year that will help inform and connect our families with students that have an individual education plan. Don't forget school site council. So a couple other things. We have a wonderful opportunity. We're bringing this back. We haven't had it for a couple of years because of COVID, but we work closely with our Fighting Back. It's called Fighting Back Parent Program. It's through CADA. And you can see here what the objectives are. And they're in-person meetings in our library in the evening from 6 to 7:30. These meetings are a blend of information and a lot of asking questions and a lot of making connections with parents and just sort of building that community. Notice they are offered in Spanish. And so I just want to make sure that you know that. And then if there's enough interest from the English speaking side, we can talk about that. So if you're interested in something like this, then we can offer it in English as well. It just that just like right now, I love that it's simultaneous, those who you can hear me speaking. There's actually, it's the interpreter, which I thank you. But when you do presentations, you know, if it's dual language, it can take for a lot longer. So this is a presentation that's given in Spanish. Okay, just some reminders, some other things that are coming up. I want to make sure that you know that there's a senior family night on the 28th. On Sunday, I know that's weird, but Sunday, September 25th, please come. It's our WASC family event. This is your chance to connect with the visiting team. It's part of our accreditation. It happens once every 6 years. It's going to be, I think, in the library. We'll send out more information, but it is a Sunday. I know that's weird, but please come if you can. And so that you can share with the visiting team all of the wonderful things that Santa Barbara High does for your students, your family. And it's just a great event to talk about what we do so well. And if you want to see our WASC report, it can be found on our website. I say that because it's not there yet, so give me a chance to get it there, but it's only 250 pages. If you're ever curious, you want to read about what Santa Barbara High has been up to the last couple of years. And then just as a reminder, you have the right to know about the qualifications of the teachers or any of the staff that work with your children. So just reach out. And that ends the sunset chat. So I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to make sure that I answer all of the questions that are in the chat. We are still recording, FYI. Okay, I'm getting there. Give me a second, folks. And feel free to raise your hand if you have a question, or you can unmute yourself. So I'm gonna make sure I answer all the questions. What is WASC? Good question. So WASC stands for the Western Association of School and Colleges. It is the accreditation organization. So every high school, in order for us to have a valid transcript, in order for colleges to see that what we do is valid and acceptable, then we have to be accredited. And the only way to be accredited is you have to go through the accreditation process. And so schools typically go through it every 6 years. We write a huge self-study, 250 pages, that looks at data. And then through that, we also examine, what we're doing well, but also whatever areas of growth. And so we set goals, we create a plan from that. And then we have a visiting team of 7 to 8 people from outside of Santa Barbara Unified. They come in and they're going to be with us Sunday evening, all day Monday and Tuesday. So that's September 25th, 26th, 27th, and then a half day on the 28th. And they're there to see if what we said in our self-study is true. They're there to affirm that. And so that's what WASC is. And so there is a parent event for you on Sunday where you can meet the visiting team and talk with them. They'll ask you lots of questions about your experience being a family, a parent, or a guardian at Santa Barbara High. I'm looking through here. So again, if you want to be part of our school site council, you need to put your name forward. So again, my email is this. And then send me, and I can also send you your the dates of the WASC. And I know one person will send that down. So there's that. So let's see, I have some more questions. Can we change the lockdown protocol so that the door handles are not shaken after being locked down? Testing the door from the outside is indistinguishable from someone trying to break in. So I will evaluate that. So I just have to look at, so we did lock out today, which is different than lock down. Lock out essentially just means we want everybody inside and we need the outside doors to be locked. And so what was happening, what I noticed is some teachers, like when a student knocked on the door, they're like, nope, and they wouldn't let them in. I'm like, no, you have to bring them in. So a lockout, a hold, or a shelter in place are all ways that we can keep students in a safe space with us, but there's not imminent danger on our campus. Lockdown means doors are locked, so you wouldn't hear the jingling. Doors are locked, lights are out, people are quiet. That's because there's imminent danger on campus. So we'll talk a little bit about that as a staff more. We went at our last staff meeting, we had a very quick overview of the standard response protocols, and we'll go through it again with them. Let's see. I see there, did I understand that PTSA can contribute to help a club? Yes, I'm working with PTSA on their process of how they're going to support student clubs with what they want to do. So that's an exciting addition that we have for this year. Just have I love this. Club Rush happened. There was, hundreds and hundreds of kids signing up. It's so awesome to see students and their passion and what they want to do. I can hear my husband getting ready for dinner, if you wonder what that sound is. And so I just love seeing all the students out there, but we're working with PTSA, and I'll get out that information to our club leaders as soon as possible about how to get some funds. Let's see, what other questions? Question for future chats, discussion about bullying, suicide prevention. Awesome. Yes. Yep. I think that would be really great to talk about not only those things, but also the resources we have on our campus. So definitely taking note of that. I think I covered everything else. If I missed your question, I'm sorry. If you want to put it in the chat again, you can. It's sort of sometimes hard to do the chat, talk at the same time, and do the slide deck. But we're rounding our time out together. We have about 4 more minutes. So I'm here for you for 4 more minutes. If you'd like to go, you can. Again, I'm here for you. You can unmute yourself. You can put something in the chat, whatever's easiest for you. If not, I hope you have a wonderful evening. We'll do this again in about a month. Good night, everyone. You're very welcome. Appreciate you being here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the kind compliments. Hi, Miss Reed. I love seeing some of our teachers here. Good night, everyone. Thank you, Vivi and Anna, for interpreting. You're amazing. Okay, everyone, I'm just going to end. It looks like no one has any other questions. I'm going to stop recording and I'm ending. Email me if you have anything. Okay, take care.